because there was no sound. So if you can hear me, just let me know. I can hear you. Please, that'll help me. Because, yeah. I just did this whole recording and there was no sound. Anyway, today I'm talking to you about the transition between the seasons, number one, and the summer season. So according to Ayurvedic medicine, how to best conduct ourselves, what to do, what not to do, when to cheat, and the few things that you just like should not do during the summertime. So anytime I do a seasonal update, I talk to you about ways you can cheat during that season, which, oh, how fun is that to think we're cheating? And what we can, what we can do during that season and the thing to best avoid. In other words, I help you to use the energy of the season to excel in your health and well-being. So that's what we're talking about today. Thank you for your time and your attention. My name is Darci Frankel. I've been practicing Ayurvedic medicine for about 30 years. I know, I look too young. I started in my last lifetime, for those of you who believe in past lives. So thank you again for joining me today. Go ahead and post any questions that you have down here, and then I can answer them and respond to you. Now, again, today I'm talking about the transition between the seasons, because today's summer solstice, and the actual season, what to do, how to cheat, and certain things to avoid, and really how to best utilize this season so that you can grow in health rather than being set back. So I want to give you a little bit of background of Ayurveda. For those of you who don't know, Ayurvedic medicine is a whole complete system of healing. Now, like I said, I've been practicing for quite some time. Ayurveda helps us to live in harmony with nature, and it does so by using daily routines called dinacharya and seasonal routines or ritucharya. So I will talk about some of that today. And again, thanks for listening, because anytime you help yourself to become healthier, you're helping the people around you to be healthier. Alrighty. Now let's see. For those of you who don't know me, again, I'm a cleansing specialist. I've been practicing Ayurvedic medicine, I think, for about 30 years. I own Hanalei Day Spa here on Kauai, and I help people to be healthier through visits to my day spa, through my online courses, through my YouTube channel, which you can watch and binge watch at any point in time. Here's my YouTube channel, and through individual consultations. I will put that banner out later. Lots of great free information on my YouTube channel, just like this. Alrighty, so first I want to talk about the junction between seasons, because that is a really important topic. Why? Because we're super vulnerable at the juncture between seasons. Now, it's like we're driving in our car from our house, and we're neither to our destination or at home. So, it's that place in between seasons or in between activities. Sometimes we don't know where we're going. Chances of getting into an accident closer to your home are greater, to use that analogy, although I don't really like it. Anyway, suffice to say that the juncture between seasons are vulnerable and is called sandhi. Sandhi means that place in between something. So in between these bones and this bone, in between these bones is a joint, also called sandhi. So the joints are a vulnerable part of the body. They're not the strongest part of the body. So that's a much better analogy than the car one. So we are more vulnerable at the juncture between seasons. So what does that mean? We're more vulnerable to get imbalanced. So Ayurveda and Ayurvedic medicine and we look at the body as a combination and permutation of the 5 different elements and emotion and environment. So our definition of health is completely different than the Western definition of health, which essentially says devoid. Western medicine definition of health is something like, you don't have symptoms. Well, in Ayurveda, we talk about health on a lot of different levels. So, and that each individual is a combination, believe it or not, of the 5 elements. Now, these 5 elements are space, air, fire, water, and earth. Now, you might be saying, there's no fire in me or space in me, but the fire is represented by the principle of heat, and there is a lot of space in you, predominantly the space in the ears, the whole, the vocal and digestive tract has a lot of space. Other than food and fecal matter, there's a lot of space in the body in between cells and whatnot. But let's come back to these 5 elements: space, air, fire, water, and earth. Now remember, the fire is represented in the principle of heat and transformation of food into energy, and heat, transformation of thoughts and ideas, any hormonal processes, any of this is governed by heat. Now, these 5 elements come together to form 3 doshas. So the 3 doshas are Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. Vata is composed of space and air. Pitta is composed of fire and water, and Kapha is composed primarily of water and earth. Now, you might be saying, well, wait a minute, somebody can't just be all space and air. You're right. We're all a combination and permutation of these 5 elements. Now, there's a lot more to it, but I'm sharing with you about summer and what happens during the juncture of the seasons and how diseases can tend to get aggravated in certain seasons and how we can prevent that. So in each of my seasonal updates, I give fun things like what to do, what not to do, when to cheat. All right, so today I'm talking about the summer. Now, which elements are predominant in the summertime? Fire. So there's that. And also, let's see, space, air, fire, water, and earth. So we'll just say fire, but also dry, other qualities of dryness, heat. So there's different qualities. There's 10 pairs of opposites, or 20 gunas that actually describe the different doshas or bodily humors. So, for instance, there's hot, cold, dry, light, oily, also oily or rough, heavy, light. So these are some of the different gunas or qualities. For you yogis out there, not to be confused with the gunas of sattva, rajas, and tamas. These are the 20 gunas, which are the 10 pairs of opposites, which describe everything. Now, the summertime is hot, dry, light, chela, mobile. So which of the different these different qualities describes you? Bringing it back home. Which of the different qualities describes ways that you can tend to get imbalanced, which are more importantly. So now in the summertime, heat tends to build up in the tissues. And so what happens, according to Ayurveda, is we have a season, and then there's the junction between the seasons, where things are rapidly changing. And then we have the next season, okay? So what happens is that there are predominant qualities, or, such as hot, cold, or the spring, which we just came from, which is what is the springtime? It's really moist out. It's cooler, right? It's not as cold as winter, but it's cool. And, water. So cold and water. So let's say we don't follow the things, important things to do to balance our bodies in the springtime. What happens is we start to accumulate some of those extra elements. So water and cold start to accumulate. Oops, I'm not sticking because I had to do this 3 times. All right, I'll start with fresh ones. And then what about the season before that? So we have that accumulation. And if we didn't take some time to do our daily routine, our dinacharya, ritucharya, then, we have that. And then, the year before that, 4 more. And the trauma or that car accident or that, other accident or the move or the divorce and the breakup and other traumatic things. Our parents, there's this whole there's this whole branch of science now that talks about how how trauma gets handed down from generation to generation. So that's why in Ayurveda, it's really important for us to process our emotions and to create balance in between the seasons. So I'm going to talk to you about how to create balance in between the seasons so you don't have walk around with all these sticky notes, which ultimately are not sticky notes, but they are invisible layers of accumulation of the doshas of space, air, fire, water, and earth, or vata, pitta, and kapha. Are you with me? Hoping you can hear me. Let me know you're there. Let's see if there's questions or comments. Okay. So coming back to this. So now let's say some of the things you want. So let me give you this. Fundamental tenet in Ayurveda is like increases like. So if it's hot and dry out and I'm eating hot, spicy food and popcorn and just super spicy food in the middle of the day and, what's going to happen? Like increases like. So what we want to do is create balance. And I'll tell you how we do that in Ayurveda. It's really simple. And, it says this in the Ayurveda sutras, which are their reports that show Ayurveda is between 5,000 and 7,000 years old. So they teach us these daily and seasonal routines. So what to do in the summer. You want to avoid the hot, spicy, dry, foods and have more cooling foods. Add some good oils like coconut oil. The avocados are really, really great in the summertime. But you want to avoid these hot, spicy, like Mexican food, really greasy, cheesy, fried, fatty foods. And then have your largest meal at summertime. Why? Because that's when the heat in the body or our internal Agni is strongest and we can digest this largest meal so that we can have a lighter meal later for dinner and have deep, deep sleep in the evening. So you want to prefer these, lighter foods as opposed to heavy, dense roasts or, soupy things, hot foods, hot, spicy, fried foods. I'm not assuming there's anything in your diet or not in your diet, but the lighter foods and not spicy. So cooling foods, greens are good. Lots of fruits and vegetables, salads with sprouts and, just nuts and seeds are really good rather than that heavier, fare that we tend to have like casseroles and bigger, more course meals in the winter and fall times. Okay, so let's see. So those are some things to do. And then in a minute, I'll tell you what ways to cheat, because there's always times to cheat and take advantage of the heat. Because when it's hot out, we can tend to burn more fuel, right? Excuse me, I have an itch. So our internal Agni, or digestive fire, is strong enough to burn things. So what's the heaviest food you could think of? Ice cream. Ice cream is so heavy and cold. It's like the thing you do not want to have in the evening in winter. That's what I'll tell you in the one of the things I'll tell you in the winter video. Now for summer, when the best time you can cheat is have your ice cream or your ice cold drinks during the day. Those of you who do like ice cold drinks, which during the other parts of the year can tend to slow your internal Agni or digestive fire, best time to have midday summer. So that's one of the best times to cheat. Okay, so just to recap, a couple things you do not want to do, a couple things you can do are avoid super, super hot and spicy foods. You want to have your largest meal during the day and a lighter meal in the evening so you can sleep better. Then you can also cheat having ice cream or ice cold foods or even more cheese, whatnot, heavier food, like the, cold kind of quality that's harder to digest midday. But try to have cool foods as well. All right, so let's see. What else can I tell you? So that's that. What to do, when to cheat. So think about, also on the emotional level, what are some signs? How do you know that kind of summer's getting to you? We tend to get hot, overheated, emotionally. The emotions are flavors of irritability or anger. So any kind of irritability, hangry, let's see, frustration, just outright anger and rage, and just, being cranky. People get really cranky. Or on the physical level, rashes, prickly heat, getting heat stroke, the type of insomnia where you wake up in the middle of the night, like 4 or 5 a.m., that it pertains to having too much heat in the liver. Diarrhea, any disease, disorder, or imbalance with the term itis at the end is connected to extra heat in the body. And by the way, any disease or disorder or imbalance can be explained in an Ayurvedic term, meaning having too much vata, pitta, or kapha, which is one of the great things that I love about Ayurvedic medicine. We don't label in the sense or diagnose in the sense that Western medicine does, which gives a certain type of freedom. Okay, so I talked about daily routine. So other daily routine is you want to get to bed earlier and wake up earlier, because now today's the longest day of the summer, of the year, actually. So in the summertime, we take advantage of that light. So we also have our Dinacharya and our Ritucharya, daily routine and seasonal routine. Part of our seasonal routine is getting up earlier and going to bed earlier in the summertime. There's also cleansing procedures. There's many. This topic is very big. It's very vast and deep. So I'm just giving you a little bit of an update. And each season I do that for you. So daily routine and good daily routine practices are to get to bed around 10 o'clock or 10:30, and to have anywhere, when you feel well rested. So whether that's 7, 8, or even 9 hours of sleep. We want to wake up in the morning, clean our teeth and our tongue using a tongue cleaner. This is part of our daily routine. Who has a tongue cleaner? These are great. You might be saying, oh, I clean my tongue with my toothbrush. Well, that just kind of redistributes the ama, or the toxins that have occurred on the tongue over the night, over the evening. So go ahead and clean your tongue. I had my step grandkids spend the night last night, and so we brushed our teeth and I cleaned their tongues. They love that. Their little tongues. So cute. And then you want to take a nice deep drink and hydrate with room temperature or warm water. This is a part of our dina or charya or daily routine in Ayurvedic medicine. We have a lifestyle. So being healthy is a lifestyle. Oh, right. By the way, if anybody wants very specific very specific guidance, here is a link right below to have an Ayurveda consultation with me where we roll up our sleeves and I help you figure out what specific things need to go into your daily routine, into your seasonal routine, which cleansing practices to utilize so that you can further yourself into health. So I have different levels of consultations, even a short 30-minute consultation and a longer month of coaching where folks really take on their whole lifestyle and just make a big health turnaround. So if you want to make a big health turnaround, you may want to consider having a month of coaching with me. I only have a few of those options available each month. So I think right now I might only have one or two. I have to check my stats on that. All righty. So let's see, just to recap everything, today we talked about summertime. Today we talked about summertime, what it exacerbates in the body and mind, different things that you can do to deepen into your health and lifestyle during the summer, and ways that you can prevent this buildup of the dosha, the pitta dosha, which are the heat type of toxins that can tend to build up during the summer. Remember all those sticky notes that we had? We piled those on. So it's really important for us to maintain a seasonal and daily routine and be consistent with that. Thank you. Let's see. Let me finish recapping. The best time to cheat is midday, having your super cold foods. And a couple more things to not do during the summer. Don't do your super hot, infrared sauna or Bikram yoga midday. Save that for earlier in the morning or the Vata time, later in the afternoon, just before the sun goes down. Remember, you really want to use these elements to your advantage. Don't let this extra heat accumulate in your tissues, just like you didn't want the extra weight to accumulate in the winter, or the dampness to accumulate in the winter or the spring. So these are some of the ways that you can take good care of your health according to Ayurvedic medicine. If you'd like to learn more, go ahead and check out a consultation with me, and we'll help you figure out what you need to do to create greater levels of health. Thank you so much for your time today. Super interested in your comments and your questions. Let me see. I don't know if I could see all the questions on this platform. Let me take a look. Yeah, I'm on StreamYard. I don't know if it shows all of the different, but go ahead and post your questions there. Also, thank you so much for joining me. If you want to go deeper, again, you can have a consultation. I also have a blog post here at my honoluludayspa.com on a blog that I made, where I share these great tips. One category is I kind of want to be healthy, and the other category is the superhero warrior protector of your health tips. So check that out, and I will post that for you right here. I think it should go on all of the all destinations. Let me post that on all destinations. All right. Thanks again for taking the time to be with me. Looking forward to reading and responding to each and every one of your questions, your comments, concerns, and hope you have a great day. As we say here, aloha.